was for sale last summer for $5.8 million. Canadian, that is. And it featured 8 bedrooms and 8 bathrooms and 3 kitchens because, you know, one kitchen isn't enough to clean up. You gotta have 3 to worry about. Got a great view of the ocean here, and I guess it's $1 million view or a $5 million view from that house. And we're looking across the strait at Washington, USA, and over there somewhere in the mist is Port Angeles, our nearest city, nearest and dearest. They provide us with a lot of tourists throughout the year because there is a ferry which goes from Port Angeles to Victoria. It takes an hour and a half. Now conversely, you can also swim across in 10 3/4 hours. We know this because a young lady in 1956 named Marilyn Bell swam across there and set a world record as the first person to cross the Strait of Juan de Fuca. Notice the brown grass here. We have a very dry climate in Victoria, and throughout the summer months we rarely have any rain. I don't recall any rain since the end of June, and that can go right through until early September or sometimes the middle of September. The climate here is quite dry in the summer and wet in the winter. There's some dried flowers here for your bouquet. Now in the springtime it's really beautiful here. The grass is all green and these beautiful purple lilies come up. These are the camas flower, which was once an important food source for First Nations people. And the reason they still come up here is because of the diligent efforts of the First Nations Lekwungen people over thousands of years cultivating and managing all these growing areas. I'll show you a few other areas where they grew their camas lily as well. So they ate the bulb as a source of starch, just pounded it flat, and then they would cook it, steam it, or just roast it in order to make it into an edible potato-like substance. And there's someone zipping along here on their bicycle, enjoying the Dallas Road, the new walkway that's been created, a multi-use walkway. Much easier than the narrow, broken sidewalk that used to be there. And as we come around the corner here, on our left-hand side, we have Mile Zero, the beginning of the Trans-Canada Highway. From here, it's 5,500 miles across Canada to another Mile Zero in Newfoundland. This is Canada's, actually one of the world's longest single-numbered highways. The park to our right-hand side is Beacon Hill. You can see it's similarly dry grass. It'll be cut pretty soon by the city in order to prevent a grass fire. The park is 199 acres, and it was first started to be used as a park in the 1860s during the early days of settlement, European settlement here. But before that, again, many of these meadows were used for the planting and harvesting of the camas lily by the First Nations people, the Coast Salish speaking Lekwungen people. One of our most popular drive-ins is here, the Beacon Hill Drive-In. Just the old traditional burger shack with the milkshakes, super popular. And then we have the world's largest watering can on our right-hand side. This is a children's water park, but it is also, the watering can is a symbol of Victoria as the city of gardens. So it is a little tongue-in-cheek tip of the hat towards our nickname, Garden City. Houston is Space City, and Chicago is Windy City, and we are Garden City. We have so many avid gardeners here thanks to our long growing season. And early spring and a late fall just extends that whole growing season, and people just go crazy on gardening out here. Now if you have a look to the right hand side of us here to the trees, you can see Goodacre Lake, and if you're lucky you can catch sight of some turtles on the basking log. See those little guys there. So when they're out there basking away, oh, there's a fat one there because he's the big daddy one. When they're out there basking along there, you know that it's going to be good weather. The turtles are no liars. They are very dedicated to their turtling, and they're basking. And sometimes the log is crowded with them. They're actually kind of vying for space on it. So they're a lot of fun to watch. If the day starts out and there's not even one turtle, and then by 11 a.m. there's no turtles, you might want to bring a jacket, because they know something that we don't know. Even though it might be sunny, they're like, nah, I'm not feeling it today. Now on the left-hand side of us is South Park Elementary School. We have the original South Park here. If you're a fan of the cartoon series, then this one's for you. The oldest school in Western Canada, still operating out of its original building. More dry grass everywhere. And that one's been cut to prevent it from being lit on fire by some firebugs. The old folks' home on the left-hand side, where my kids are probably going to put me this winter. At least I'll be able to see the buses going by in the summer. And here is Thunderbird Park. This is that collection of totem poles from up and down the coast, all carved by a master carver named Chief Mungo Martin. And he also did a half-scale replica of his father's big house in Port Rupert, their traditional home on northern Vancouver Island. So this is still used as a cultural center by the First Nations people, and it's actually owned by the Mungo Martins family, passed down hereditarily through generations. Now straight ahead of us is the Empress Hotel, and then a little bit to the right is the Crystal Garden, the original swimming pool for the patrons of the hotel. Both those buildings are built on what used to be open water. So from this street up to the next street was once an open bay, and fairly shallow at this end, but the water level would have been about 10 feet below where we are now. So massive amounts of water were pumped out, and when they built a stone causeway, which we'll be turning onto, and then they had to fill in this whole area here with fill. They started in 1903, and they completed their job of the building the hotel in 1908. So it's considered to be a jewel in the crown of the Inner Harbor. A lot of people don't realize that this was not originally land here. It's all filled in. Rumor has it that if you go into the basement, the tide still rises and falls. So there's water in the basement. Normally a cause for concern for some home dwellers. This one, they somehow live with it. Now as we make our right-hand turn, look to the left of us here, we can see the Legislative Assembly building.
Ada pa din eh, dali. Ha? Wait lang daya. Wait lang daya. Pacific ka lang.